All right, we're going to open up with the Seminole Airport Authority, and we'll call it.
Larry Church.
Here.
Trace Connor. Here. Dana Miller.
Here.
Chris Anson. Scott Rossman.
Here.
John Kramer. Here. Jeff Nance. Here. Corey Crabtree.
Here.
We have a forum.
All right, consideration and action of consent agenda.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Chris Anson. Sorry. Scott Rossman.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Jeff Nance.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree. Motion passes.
All right, no items removed from the consent agenda. Do we have any appearances or petitions for the Seminole Airport? Everybody sign in, we got a lot, quite a few here. If anybody needs to sign in for anything, let us know before we get the sheet. All right, moving on to current business, under item 1. Consideration is possible action to approve a contractual agreement with DET Transportation for maintenance and support for the Seminole Municipal Airport's all-weather observation system, AWS, in the amount of $6,392 per year for 2 years commencing on August 1st, 2026, for a contract total of $12,784. Roll call, please.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor. Yes. Dana Miller.
Yes.
Scott Rossman.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, no other agenda items for the airport authority. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, moving on to the Seminole Utilities Authority. We have a roll call for this one, please.
Chris Anson. Trace Connor.
Here.
John Kramer.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Scott Rossman.
Here.
Dana Miller.
Here.
Jeff Nance. Corey Crabtree.
Here.
We have a forum.
All right, consideration and action of consent agenda. Roll call, please, Jay.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, no other items for moving to consent?
Okay, we'll keep going, I'm sorry. But you don't get your name.
Yes, so it should be online as well. It is not online. I brought my own sheet here, hold on just a second. Let me grab the airport. Okay. Can you talk about for Seminole Utilities Authority, Steve?
Yes, sir. You have that one?
Or is, yeah, that was right here, yeah. Got it. Okay. With no items removed from the consent agenda, we move on to, the appearances or petitions from the audience, and we have none for the Seminole Utilities Authority. We'll move on to approvals and acceptances. Under item 1, bids, consideration and possible action to approve the low bid of $15,459.95 from Progressive Office Cabling for structured network cabling at the Seminole Family Entertainment Center. I have a real quick question on this. Is Sean being kind of updated on how all this cabling and stuff is run?
Yes, sir, he's helping coordinate.
Is he? Okay. I was just making sure that, I know he's going to get a call,
Yep.
so I was just making sure that he's kind of privy to what's going on. Okay.
Sean's absolutely participating in all of it.
Okay, awesome.
Move to approve. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, item 2, consideration and possible action to approve the low bid of $16,780 for Total Security Center for a commercial IP-based video surveillance system at the Seminole Family Entertainment Center.
Looked like the bids, we had two that were in the 20s and we had the one at 16. Is there, we know why that's so much different?
No, they were vetted though. In fact, I think Heyday has used them before, and I think they're making a comfort level of what would be expected of them.
Do they have warranty on the cameras?
So, what's offered by the manufacturer is not.
1 year, 3 years?
Standby. Will get shot in your.
All right. It's usually a 1 year.
Commercial, it's usually 3. Ones that we bring more.
You've been summoned.
I'm just curious on the warranties on the cameras.
I don't have that info for you. I can find out. I assume it would be, whatever the industry standard is, but it's something I'd be happy to look up for you.
Are they, I guess they're commercial?
Yeah.
Cameras or not?
Yeah, it's a commercial grade camera and NVR system.
It was just, the bid was so much different compared to the others, so I didn't know what the reason, we take a little bit forward sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a company they're familiar with, they've worked with before. They've got them set up in their other, heyday facilities, so. Yep. Yep.
All right. Anybody have any questions or have a motion? Roll call, please, Jay.
Trace Connor. John Kramer. Larry Church.
Yes.
Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to item 3, consideration and possible action to approve the sole bid of $134,649 from Cross Design and Lighting Incorporated for signage at the Hay Seminole Family Entertainment Center.
Madam Chair, I think that's all your notes. It is obviously on April 24th. And I just wanted, nobody would do that. I just thought that was a lot of time to be out there and nobody did it.
And we talked to several, the architect talked to several that
You
we
just
did
did a
what we
job
had.
for, to do the job for. I was just curious. You don't know, you don't.
There's a variety of excuses, but
I just thought it was on.
it is extremely. If you choose to make a motion on this, Mr. Mayor, I think there are several things that we're, as staff, is considering eliminating to bring it under our budget. So if you choose to make a motion, I would ask that it be not to exceed 134. That gives us room to move down, not up.
Okay.
Steve, can you remind me again where this basically $135,000 fund?
It's coming from the sales tax that was passed to construct the entertainment center, the family entertainment
So
center.
it's not taking away from any other city projects or, it was specifically for a fund that was designed for this specific?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sure.
You want the exact amount, 134,649.
There you go.
You don't want it to exceed that amount. Okay, all right. No, we're just, that's what it is, we're just not exceeding. We can go below that, just not above. Jay, will you roll call, please?
Trace Connor.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, item 4, consideration and possible action to approve the bid from Canvas in the amount of $104,621.25 for restaurant and bowling furniture for Hay Seminole Entertainment Center. We're gonna get this in time, because Bank First didn't get theirs. They were late.
The word is we will get it in time.
Okay.
They wouldn't sign it in blood though, so So, kind of it.
Okay.
We're getting close, folks. When we're starting to order furniture, we're getting in the final stages.
Okay. Anyone have a motion?
Was the canvas bid, was it 55 or was it?
So,
An additional 49,500.
yeah, so there are bowling and restaurant, I think they're separate. Look here, stand by.
It's 55,000 for spring.
Okay.
That's crazy, it costs that much to freight something.
Yeah, I think the 104 covers both restaurant and bowling, right? And then
Yes.
55 is freight? Yeah. Yeah. Freight is, both bids we got, freight was ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Go get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damn, I don't know, it's not $50,000.
Well, you know.
My truck's not that big.
Well, I don't know, the gas prices, that'll break off the same.
Well, the problem is it's all bulky. I'm sure
Right.
these are not small items.
Probably gonna
so-
pack it up.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't have this concern before you mentioned it, but there is no guarantee that we're going to have it on opening day?
Guaranteed, no. Verbally, yes. They didn't act like it was a problem. Some, if not most of it, is in stock where they've got it already ready to go. So that's good news. We didn't order a lot of specialty things. In fact, most of it is, this is not the furniture term. Layman's term is it's mobile, so we can move it and clean under it, right? So it's not like a fixed upholstered, big custom type deal.
We haven't announced an opening date, correct? We've just kind of given a, or
Right.
they haven't announced.
We have
that?
not. No, sir.
So
We
we don't
probably-
even have an opening day?
No.
Just make sure that they don't announce that either until
Who does?
Sure.
the operators.
Oh,
You don't want them-
absolutely. No,
I don't think they would do that.
I
but
don't either.
Just making sure.
But we'll triple check.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Scott Rossman,
Yes.
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Nash,
Yes, sir.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Under current business, item 5, consideration and possible action to approve a pre-designed consultation for a fee of $5,000 with Greenspan Projects US regarding turnkey construction of a mini golf course at Hay Seminole Family Entertainment Center.
Okay, so, yep, so we had 2 responses to the request for proposal. One was Harris, and we worked and tried to pin them down on what the costs were. Frankly, we really couldn't get Harris down to a turnkey job. Much of what they were wanting to do was to hand it to a general contractor that they weren't responsible for. And the best we could tell was it would be over $1.3 million for mini golf, okay? The second proposal is by this company, and they said, hey, we'll be able to do it for your budget of $850,000. But we need to come design it so that you okay the design first. So what we're asking for here is the upfront $5,000 for them to send their design team to Seminole, take all the survey,
Sourcing for this, the $850,000?
same. It's all part of the family
I'm just
entertainment.
talking, oh, I thought we were adding on the mini golf later.
Well,
If we have the money, we
Right.
take back the
right,
money to do
yes.
Right.
So thanks to Bryant Baker and Sharon Emmett, we have stayed within an area that we can afford a mini golf. So there have been, I don't know, maybe 200 instances where they've tried to go over budget on different things. Signage is one that we're definitely going to trim down some, just by doing simple things like not putting it above the roof line, bring it down and mount it on the, so those sorts of attentions to detail are allowing us to keep a budget available for mini golf.
Good job. I'm all for that one.
Vote to approve?
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Trace Donner.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, with no other items on the Seminole Utilities Authority, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, moving on to the Seminole Municipal Authority. Can we have a roll call for this one, please?
Dana Miller.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Chris Anson. John Kramer. Here. Jeff Nance.
Here.
Scott Rossman.
Here.
Trace Donner.
Here.
Corey Crabtree.
Here.
We have a four.
All right, consideration and action of consent agenda. Roll call, please, Jay.
Dana Miller.
Here. I'm sorry, yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Jeff Nance.
Yes.
Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Trace Donner.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, with no items removed from the consent agenda and with no appearances or petitions from the audience, we'll move on to current business. Item 1, consideration and possible action to approve invoice number 22 from Crossland Heavy Contractors in the amount of $875,034.43 for construction of the new wastewater treatment plant. And how many more invoices we got to go?
It takes a lot to spend that much money.
I'm telling you.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Trace Donner.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, item 2, consideration and possible action to approve invoice number 31 from Wall Engineering in the amount of $18,049.56 for engineering and inspections of the new wastewater treatment plant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Jeff Nance. Scott Rossman.
Yes.
Trace Donner.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, item 3, consideration and possible action to approve the transfer of a portion of the fund balance from the Seminole Municipal Authority to the following general fund capital improvement project reserve accounts as budgeted for fiscal year 2025-2026. Reserve for encumbrances, Warren Boulevard, $200,000. Reserve for encumbrances, Sigma Settlement Agreement, $500,000. And reserve for encumbrances, Family Entertainment Center of $100,000. Go ahead, I see your thing. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I would ask that we adjust this on the fly. And I'm going to fall on my sword here. Jay and I, we kind of missed $150,000 to purchase the Bank First building for the new city hall when we offered the city budget. So what I would propose, rather than transferring these amounts, is take the Bourne Boulevard reserve down to 100, and the other 50 would come out of the Sigma settlement balance. So that would be 450. rather than 500. And that will eventually allow us to bring back to you the closing costs for buying the Bank First building.
Okay.
So you don't need that for this one, you just reduce.
No, just what to transfer.
Approved with the outline and what our city manager proposed.
So $100,000 for the Warren Boulevard and $450 for the Sigma.
Sigma.
Okay. Second. All right. Jay, can we have a roll call for this, please?
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Jeff Nance, Scott Rossman,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. No other items on the Seminole Municipal Authority? I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. All right, moving on to, hold on, my pages are out of order here. Did you put, I think some minutes for, I think that got put in there twice on this one. Correct. We're on city council, correct? Yeah, I just had two of the municipal authorities in there, I don't know. So, on that one. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Seminole City Council. Can we have a roll call for this one, please, Jay?
Trace Connor.
Here.
Dana Miller,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here.
Scott Rossman,
Here.
Chris Anson, Jeff Nance, John Kramer, Corey Crabtree.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, we'll all stand, we'll do the pledge of allegiance to the prayer, please. Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, we pray, honor the name of Jesus, and thank you for this time to be given to the council. We're trying to, Lord, we really try to make the right decisions. God, give us wisdom, give us understanding and knowledge as we try to do these things first. Please, we pray. Amen.
You got a direct connection there or something?
I'm trying to pay attention.
All right.
Wake up,
We're gonna give you trouble when you laugh in prayer.
All right. Consideration and action of consent agenda. Roll call, please, Jay.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yeah.
Scott Rossman,
Yes.
Jeff Nance, John Kramer. Motion passes.
All right, with no items removed from the consent agenda, moving on to appointments. And actually, we're going to need to take no action to table this item because he was not able to make it tonight. Thought it was next month instead of this month, so we're going to table that and move it to the meeting in August, so.
Yeah, he won't actually take office until he does the oath at the next council meeting.
Correct. And I discussed that with him, he's going to do it at the next council meeting. Correct, so, we're good. Yeah, I didn't give it to him. All right, moving on to appearances or petitions from the audience. We've got a couple signed in to speak, and I can't read his first name. Is it Michael?
Yes, sir.
All right, Michael, is it Rudd, R-U-D-D?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you want to go ahead and step up to the podium, we'll hear from you this time. And if you will, we've already, we know what your name is, your address, or maybe what ward you're from, if you know that information, that'd be great.
Repeat that, please, sir.
Your address?
19 Osage Drive, Shawnee, Oklahoma.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm Michael Rudd, notorious bad house guy. In 2013, I retired dealing with the military for a long time. Anyway, I got an idea to produce a hobby or get a hobby. It turned out to be more than a hobby. A friend of mine asked me to build a bat house. for his wife. And I had to clarify that because I wasn't sure which way that was going. But anyway, we'll leave it at that one. Anyway, he showed it. Next thing I knew, it exploded. And everybody started calling me, asked me, what can we do about the bugs? Here in Oklahoma, we have approximately 700,000 little bats about that big. Don't ask me to pronounce the name because it's 27 letters long. It's got the whole alphabet. And they eat approximately 3,000 insects a night each. Now, the thing is, they don't carry any diseases because of two reasons. They don't eat fruit and they do not eat meat. They only eat insects. So once the light on your hand, don't worry about it. It's not going to bite you. It's scared of you more than you are of it. Now, the thing is, according to the aerial map that I have, there's 26 locations here in Seminole are eat up with water. And if my calculations is halfway correct, that's a whole lot of bugs. Now, the thing is, a bat lives approximately 10 years. A bat comes in late part of February or March, according to the weather, will stay all the way to as high or as far up into the year as November the 29th or thereabouts. The bat comes and stays. It doesn't leave like the little martins and the bluebirds do. And they're more selective. The little bats have been around for 50 million years or whatever it is, a long time. I put one up at my house 13 years ago because everybody was bugging me, why do you not have one? Well, that answered that. I have no bugs. Underneath the eaves of the house, you always get dirt daubers. I don't have. Kids can be playing in the backyard even when it's dark and the bats will not bother them. They could care less about those kids, except, they're not going to mess with them. The biggest thing is I've made several trips over here kind of observing different things. And I was standing out here yesterday, and there's a pool, and bugs were everywhere. And I didn't even think about taking a picture. I had, you big dummy, you got a camera on your cell phone. And so I didn't do that. But anyway, the biggest thing is they maintain themselves. You don't do anything. The little houses they live in are made out of natural materials, red cedar, Oklahoma grown. You put them up, you don't have to do anything to them. Don't paint them for sure or put anything on them because the wood breathes. It must breathe. If not, it will poison the bats because the thinners and agents inside the chemicals will affect the bats. The nice thing about it is you put them up, they're maintenance free. You don't have to come back and check on them. The little sneaky trick to it is to get them there is, you will never believe this. You put a small amount of peanut butter down at the bottom edge. It attracts the insects. And next comes along, Beth says, hey, chow time. Here they come. It takes about a week to 10 days for the little houses to lose the human scent. I don't care what you do, wear rubber gloves, rubber suit, rubber whatever, you're going to get human scent on them. After that, that's all you got to do. And there's approximately, well, they cover, like Seminole, according to what I saw, has 26 primary areas that are covered up with water. You got a lot of little bitty ones. I drove around yesterday for almost 2 hours and couldn't see them all. Probably somebody thought I was crazy, but anyway. But that's about the gist of the whole thing. I will tell you this. The project itself, I created, yes. But the funds from the project go to help our veterans. I'm retired military. I was able to come home. A lot of my brothers and sisters didn't. Sorry. But that's how it all works. Got any questions? I know there's got to be questions. I couldn't have covered it that well.
We'll cover those in the public hearing if we need to.
I'm sorry?
We'll cover those in the public hearing if we need to. We're not allowed to take corresponding questions on the
Okay.
part of it. We'll
All right.
begin in a little bit.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, you're
I was used to the military. It's a different deal.
I understand. Thank you for coming, though. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for your service.
All right. Thank you.
Definitely. All right, Miss Jackie, you're up next.
So I think Brandy should have her presentation first because it kind of pairs well with what the bad guy had to
Okay.
say, and then I'll go after them. Because I was going to talk about last month's budget meeting.
Okay. Okay, all right, sounds good. So we're going to move on to, we actually have a presentation by the Seminole Community Garden. And this is Brandy Wells.
Yes, hello.
You would like to go ahead and start? We will give you the floor.
Okay. Well, good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Brandy Wells, and I am here representing the script, which is also known in short as the Seminole Community Garden. The actual script is an acronym for the Seminole Community Regenerative Initiative Permaculture Transformation. We do appreciate the work that the city does to protect the public health, and we recognize that mosquito control is an important responsibility. Our goal tonight is not to criticize those efforts, but to share research and propose a more sustainable, evidence-based approach that protects both our residents and the local environment. We believe that there are practical solutions that can reduce mosquito populations while relying less on routine citywide spraying, and we'd like to share those solutions with you today. Before we begin, I would like to make one thing clear. We do all share the same goal. We want fewer mosquitoes and a healthier community. The question isn't whether mosquitoes should be managed, it's how they are managed. Over the past several weeks, we have researched mosquito control recommendations from the CDC, the EPA, Oklahoma State University Extension, and the Oklahoma State Department of Health. We also submitted questions to the city to better understand its current mosquito control program. Tonight, we would like to share what we have learned and offer several recommendations that focus on long-term prevention instead of relying primarily on adult mosquito spraying. So the purpose of this presentation, as the slide shows, is several residents have expressed concerns about respiratory issues after citywide spraying and are pleading for alternatives. Children, our elderly, and our pets are all highly vulnerable. Those with asthma or other respiratory conditions are at a much higher risk. Our health should not be compromised by outdated methods. Bees, wasps, and butterflies contribute to local gardens and our food supply. Steady decrease in all pollinators over the last decade is due to climate and pesticides. I'm clicking. There we go. So the mosquito reproduction and life cycle. This slide illustrates the mosquito life cycle, but the most important thing to notice is the timeline. Under favorable conditions, a mosquito can go from egg to biting adult in as little as 7 to 10 days. That is important because it shows why prevention is so effective. If we eliminate standing water or treat it with mosquito dunks before adults emerge, we stop thousands of mosquitoes before they ever have the chance to bite, reproduce, or require chemical spraying. The earlier we interrupt the life cycle, the more effective and environmentally responsible our mosquito management becomes. Most mosquitoes don't travel very far from where they're born. In many cases, they're breeding right in our own backyards. The important takeaway from this slide is that most breeding sites are small and preventable. A bucket, clogged gutter, bird bath, old tire, flower pot, or even a bottle cap holding water can produce mosquitoes. That is why source reduction is considered the foundation of mosquito management. Every breeding site eliminated is hundreds of mosquitoes that never become adults. This is also where community education can make tremendous difference. Teaching residents how to recognize and eliminate standing water is one of the most effective and least expensive mosquito control tools available. So why spraying does not work long term? This isn't to say that adult mosquito spraying never has a place. During a disease outbreak or an emergency, it can be an important public health tool. Spraying for adult mosquitoes only affects the mosquitoes that are flying and come into direct contact with the adulticide. It does not eliminate eggs, larvae, or pupae that are already developing in standing water. Within about a week or less, a new generation of adult mosquitoes can emerge from nearby hatching areas, breeding sites, which is why repeated spraying is often necessary. That is why organizations like the CDC emphasize integrated mosquito management, focusing first on eliminating breeding sites and controlling larvae before they become adults. Adulticides are designed to kill insects. They cannot distinguish between mosquitoes and beneficial insects. Pollinators, let me go back one slide, there we go. Pollinators such as bees and butterflies play a critical role in our gardens, agriculture, and native ecosystems. Other wildlife, including aquatic insects, fish, frogs, reptiles, and even backyard chickens, may also be affected through direct exposure or environmental contamination. Again, our goal is not to eliminate the use of pesticides entirely. Our goal is to reduce unnecessary exposure to pesticides by preventing mosquito populations before widespread spraying becomes necessary. While these products are approved for mosquito control when used according to label directions, that doesn't mean that they come completely without risk. According to the National Pesticide Information Center, exposure can cause skin and eye irritation, headaches, dizziness, nausea, and respiratory irritation, particularly for people with asthma and other breathing conditions. Several Seminole residents have shared concerns about respiratory symptoms following citywide spraying, and those concerns deserve consideration as we evaluate alternative approaches. Pollinators do far more than make our gardens beautiful. Roughly 1 out of every 3 bites of food we eat depends on pollination. Healthy ecosystems also regulate insect populations naturally. Birds, dragonflies, bats, frogs, and beneficial insects all play a role in keeping mosquito populations in balance. Protecting pollinators and protecting public health do not have to be competing goals. With a prevention-focused mosquito management program, we can do both. Seminole already has ordinances that recognize standing water and conditions that attract mosquitoes as public nuisances. Rather than focusing primarily on spraying adult mosquitoes after they hatch, we would like to see greater emphasis placed on enforcing existing nuisance codes, educating residents, and reducing breeding habitat throughout the community. There's just some more ordinances continued. Mosquito dunks contain a naturally occurring soil bacterium that specifically targets mosquito larvae. It works before mosquitoes become adults and is considered safe for people, pets, fish, birds, and pollinators when used as directed. It works before mosquitoes become adults and is considered safe for people, pets, fish, birds. I just read that line. Part of our recommendation is to make it a larger part of the city's overall mosquito management strategy through public education and community distribution programs. Nature already provides many effective mosquito predators. Bats, dragonflies, birds, fish, frogs, and other wildlife will all help reduce mosquito populations naturally. While bat boxes and habitat improvements aren't a complete solution by themselves, they are inexpensive, long-lasting tools that can complement other mosquito control efforts. We met with a local bat box builder, Michael, who just spoke, and we learned a lot of really interesting information about bat boxes and the type of bats that live in our area. Each box can house up to around 65 bats. One bat box can cover roughly 2 acres. The bats migrate to our area during the warmer weather, and each bat can eat up to 3,000 insects a day. So our request to the City Council, this is the core of what we are asking the city to do. We're not asking you to simply stop spraying. We're asking that you replace a single reactive approach with a long-term science-based mosquito management program. First, we ask that the city suspend routine blanket spraying of Aqualure and other adulticides while a more comprehensive strategy is developed. To guide that strategy, we recommend creating a vector control board made up of local leaders and subject matter experts. We would suggest including the mayor or a city council representative, a member of the Seminole Community Garden Group, a representative from the Seminole County Health Department, Public Works, Lake Ranger, appropriate city staff, and a local conservation or extension expert. Together, these members can use surveillance data, public health expertise, and local knowledge to make informed decisions that best serve our community. We also ask that the city adopt a sustainable mosquito management plan that is focused on prevention through public education, mosquito dunk distribution, habitat preservation for natural predators and pollinators, bat box installation where appropriate, and community cleanup efforts to eliminate breeding sites. This plan can be developed in a more detail by the proposed Vector Control Board. By focusing on prevention first, Seminole can reduce mosquito populations while protecting both public health and our local environment. We do appreciate your time and willingness to hear our concerns, and we recognize that protecting public health is a difficult responsibility, and we believe that we all share the same goal, a healthier, safer Seminole. Thank you for your time, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. Yeah. There's the first one.
Is there one more page for you?
Yes.
We've already got that. We'll do that. Look, I just want to see the word.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Randy?
Randy, in your research with the state health department, were you able to find, like, what is the state of Oklahoma's kind of mosquito, like, how do they address the issue? Do they use spraying as a first resort, last resort? What does that look like for them?
So the Oklahoma State Health Department actually utilizes, they go by the CDC guidelines and their integrated mosquito management programs. And so that is, spraying is a very last resort, using adulticides. Their integrated mosquito management program suggests that prevention is the very first action. And then that is followed up with surveillance. So here for instance, and from there, that's not enforced on cities or townships themselves. Each one gets to choose their own. So for instance, Tulsa, the city of Tulsa is in partnership with the Tulsa County Health Department. And through that partnership, the city votes on a budget for things. But then when it comes to implementation of spraying and those type of things, they actually have, the Tulsa County Health Department has authority in that matter. And that is because they use surveillance. Our Seminole County Health Department uses surveillance trapping, is what they call that. And so they set up a mosquito trap, and once a week, they test all the mosquitoes that are gathered in that trap, and they take it back to a testing lab in a state-affiliated testing lab, where they test for all of the vectors that mosquitoes can carry, and then they report that information back to the county. Well, and that's so that's Tulsa specifically. Oklahoma City does not spray. I called municipalities. I reached out to Ada, Holdenville, and Wewoka specifically, and they do not do citywide spraying. They allow that to be up to a person in their home if they wanted to contact a bug sprayer, exterminator, that they would then call them and have them come spray their home individually.
Thank you for that. It's always good to know what everyone else is doing. So in your research also, were you able to find from the state health department how many times when they do those traps have they found things? Because we always, I think a lot of people, I know I do too, when I go outside, I want to spray myself in my yard or whatever, and it's probably not the healthiest thing to do, but I'm always afraid of like West Nile virus. That's the thing that gets everybody all excited. Have we heard of, or did you hear of how many times when they trap have they found West Nile virus?
That information is all on the Oklahoma State Department of Health. You can look up that information. I don't want to quote numbers. I don't have that information right in front of me, but they do have that, and it is very low. Since they have been using surveillance trapping techniques, that started in 1999, and from 1999 to, I believe it was 2024, was where the data markers were. There was approximately, on average, statewide, 39 cases of West Nile in the entire state per year. Of course, some years it did increase, some years it decreased from that. But, you know, when you look at West Nile, of course, we want to be proactive and we want to protect our health. And I know that's the job of the council in your wards to look out for that. But the statistics for West Nile and it actually what it does in the body and people's illnesses is very slim. It's about an 80% of people who actually have West Nile virus don't even know they have it when they contract it. And of that, less than 1% is actually a neurologic issue when it affects the nervous system. I did note in Bartlesville, in their community, Bartlesville sprays every 5 days. They have their city broken up in a map, and they just send their trucks spraying citywide every 5 days. And they have 35 cases averaging there while they're spraying. So,
it's not making an impact?
No.
Right, so.
Not according to that data, no.
Because I'm just going off of memory, and that's the reason why I asked, is I had asked the health department the same question, and I believe they came back with, maybe in the last year, they only found one in their traps that have that. So
Yes.
from what I gather, it's kind of intervention that's the first line of defense, and the second is the trapping, and then the spraying is the absolute last resort. Whereas the city of Seminole kind of does the opposite. We do the spraying first, and then really no interventions or data collecting. So.
Correct. The city of Tulsa also does have a number on their website that residents can contact this number, and if they're having a high number of mosquitoes in their neighborhood or in their yards, that is something that they can do, is contact this number and request surveillance in their yard. And then they coordinate with the Tulsa County Health Department, who would then come put a trap to verify the types of mosquitoes and if they are carrying any sort of disease.
Can we, if you will, hold on for a second, let's go ahead and switch this out. I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and open, no, you're good, you can stay if you want, because I'm sure people have questions for you.
Okay.
We're just gonna go ahead and open the public hearing, so we can start that part of this, so that if you guys have a lot of questions, we can just keep going. So let's go ahead and open up the public hearing at this time. So if you will, just go ahead and continue on with yours. I just want to make sure we open this up to everybody versus just council members who may want to have questions. So I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Right, yes, thank you for coming. That's very impressive. My concerns are there's so much standing water. There's water everywhere. I live on Ideal Street with a big honking pond right next to me. And so, you guys in your research, you figured out that we're able to handle that amount of bugs with bats and birds and buckets and that stuff. I just need to know that answer, because there's so much standing water through the middle of, just through the middle of our town. The creek, the creek that runs through the middle of our town. And it never really drains. I mean, it's a lot better than it was. But I mean, like even on the runoff creeks, like there's so much debris and trees in our runoff through our streets
Right,
than
right.
just standing water.
Absolutely.
And so I didn't know if you had gotten a chance to even think about that or look into that, about will these help in that situation or not? I don't know. I'm asking your question. I'm
Yes.
asking because I don't know.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So there's, anytime, one thing, a word in our name with permaculture is anytime that you are dealing with ecosystems, you want to take it from a very rounded approach. There's no one way to do something. And so these are not the answer alone. And the bat boxes aren't the answer alone, but taking a full-scale approach to where we have started using the bat boxes. So now we're bringing back predators and we're creating an ecosystem for them to live in, and there's plenty of food. We wouldn't bring bats in if there wasn't a food source for them. They wouldn't come. So we have the food source for them. So utilizing the bats along with individual homes, and these could even be put outside of businesses and you along alleyways and things of that nature, the dunks, killing them on that end. So these are what the dunks look like. This comes in, this is Bacillus thuringiensis I. The next word, the specific breed of bacteria. I do not recall what the I is, but, and so you can get this in pellet form. And Steve, if I may ask you, in my email, you stated that the city does use pellets. The county health department had supplied those at one time?
I think that came from Sharon, but yes.
Okay, so that is something that the city can obtain is this in pellet form. So when we see those standing water areas, that can be thrown in those waters to cut that breeding cycle without hurting any other of anything else in the ecosystem. So the standing water is not an issue.
You drop it in. I know that Rossman works on the Potawatomi. I know they have granules, they put it in the standing water, things like that. Another question. Are you wanting to like do both? I mean, split targeted spraying and then all the other things, or is that what we're looking at? Targeting spray, like down by Harvey Road, where Wilka Creek runs through there. I think it's Wilka Creek runs through there, and then it just fills up with water, and it just stays there right where Ernie's storage buildings are.
Mm-hmm.
And then where I grew up on Highland, so behind Highland between the dentist office and the car lot, it's a watershed basically. It's just wet. It's just mud all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm asking. I mean, are we looking at doing targeted spraying of this area, this area, and this area, and then doing other things? I'm sorry, let me throw it at you. Doing other things, or are we just explain that to me a little greater? I just want to know kind of what we're thinking, kind of what's rolling.
Sure, yeah. So targeted spraying, no.
Okay.
But to reserve the spraying for using the surveillance, so using the county health department and their information and making those decisions. If we created a vector board and we were in contact, and so the health department would be on that vector board. And at that point, because they're getting weekly reports, that board would then be the one to make the decision of now it's time that we should spray. Based off the findings. But if we're collecting mosquitoes on a weekly basis and testing them in state labs and showing that we're not carrying disease in these places, then the spraying is unnecessary. The spray is only going to kill something that it touches when it's flying. And just like, so a really great example is we all do what we can to stay healthy. So we don't wake up and take an antibiotic every single day to stay healthy. We do preventative measures like eating healthy, exercising, getting good rest. We do things so that we stay healthy. When we take the antibiotic, when something does occur, the antibiotic does take care of the problem, but it also eliminates all of the good bacteria as well, because it doesn't know which is the good and the bad. Spraying is the same exact thing. It's not going to know the bugs that are pollinating and helping us versus the mosquitoes. So we do feel that it has a place. And when that vector board that we are asking to be created, when they say, okay, now it's time, then we stand by that decision because you do have a city to look out for. We just ask that it be not until that point because it does so much damage on the other side.
And my concerns are to get the amount of 3,000 per bat. My brain goes, well, how much does the mosquito population have to rise by not spraying to get 3,000 per bat? And that's just, and, you know, and also I think of bat, I don't be Transylvania West. And so I just.
Well, when you spray, so you sprayed just before the 4th, and that spray is doing nothing now.
It's gone, yeah.
Right. So
I'm
from
not
now
against
until
it.
the, no, I'm just explain, for people that may not know, that spray is no longer doing anything. So the mosquito population is currently rising because the preventative measures are not being put in place. We have been working with the Seminole Arts Council, who has put back in order their community service crews. And so picking up trash, working in different districts, finding out, as council representatives, where the problem areas are within those, and we're willing to work in that and to go educate people, help pick up the trash, help do those things. A huge one that wasn't on the slide that people don't realize, plastic trash bags. I mean, you go to Catch Saver and bless their hearts, but you go home with 50 plastic bags for a jar of peanut butter. They don't want that breaking on your way out. And so, but those end up flying all over the place. And so when those get left out in rainwater and it heats up, and that's a big one. So,
I appreciate you, thank you.
yeah,
I didn't mean to just pepper with questions, I just have a lot, so sorry.
that's okay. I appreciate you engaging.
How many traps does the county, do they put out?
Right now, the county only has one
Where's it located?
at the Seminole County Health Department.
So, nothing,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
right up here.
board.
Yeah.
Not it.
I'm sorry. Yes, the one up here.
Okay. So we just have- Now, I was under the impression that we don't do BTI or whatever. I thought we did that in our drainage ditches, so that's prevention, correct or no?
We do.
We do that. So it was said that we didn't do that, but I think we do.
Are you talking about the pellets?
Yes, yes.
So we do our, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So who, do they do it weekly, monthly? Who does it?
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I was just wanting to make sure that we did do it, because I was under the impression that we did. but that's-
We buy 40-pound bags of BTI pellets. Just recently, we bought 6 bags. We try to keep them with the guys who are mowing because they're going to see the standing water before anybody else does. So if they see a pool of standing water that's probably stagnant, they will go ahead and put some of the pellets in the pool.
I was just wondering, he said, Mr. Rudd said we had 26 locations that had water. Are those city, or are those individual, or those personal?
It's spread out all over.
It's city property, or it's personal property?
It's
Or
encompassing
both?
the whole area. I couldn't get an actual draw point where the city property line stops,
Right.
but the biggest concentration, I've got a picture of it, but the biggest concentration of it is around the area like the wellness center
Right?
and various other places like that.
Yeah.
Basically,
I was just, I know we can't go on personal property and help people do that kind of stuff, so I was just, I didn't know if those 26 locations were city, or if they were just a wide picture of personal property and city property.
So I asked a while ago for those ordinances to be put back up there. Do any of these ordinances carry fines with them? I'm just curious about who, now I'll be really honest with you. When we were first married, we got our first pool. It was not a pleasant experience. My wife is laughing at me, but we have more frogs and tadpoles than any pond in Oklahoma, I can tell you that. But we didn't know that. But I'm just curious as if part of code enforcement is to find these pools that have been sitting there for, I don't know, 2 months. They're full of water, they're full of mosquitoes. Is there a fine, or is there currently someone that is watching over those, that is supplying a ticket or someone to that person, just like we would for tall grass and weeds? Because you're infiltrating the whole neighborhood. We didn't know we were doing that, but I'm sure we probably did at that time, but what's going on with that?
I will tell you, in front of, from, I guess, from McDonald's all the way down to the dentist office, and then the median is full.
Right, which we can't do that. That will be our responsibility as a city to kind of watch those. But I'm just specifically speaking of just individuals that own property, that you see a pool in the backyard that's have water in it for 2 months and it's sitting there and it's a breeding pool. What are we doing about those? I guess that's my question. Or have we done anything with them? I don't know how specific we got on that.
So I guess the quick answer is not very much. We haven't done very much. Frankly, it's problematic to ticket someone for doing that when we've got a lot of city property that holds water.
Correct.
So I know that a code enforcement officer would have reservations about writing a ticket and those such matters when a citizen can say, now, wait a minute, what about? There are multiple places, and like Sharon said, we're trying to do it with pellets. But man, the private property,
So,
and some of it, Mayor, I'm probably getting out of my lane, but our largest mosquito producer is 50 yards from the splash pad. We've got a beaver pond that is at least 4 acres, and it is probably 1.5 feet deep, and it's not our property. They've asked us to come help clean it up, but I think the last time we discussed it, the council discussed it, it was a no-go. And much of the Magnolia Creek goes through that property, so none of that is being treated. And, I mean,
I'm just specifically speaking of just right now, just someone who would have a pool, a big bucket, maybe just a feeder of some sort that was stuck in the yard that you can visibly see that's just no one's dumped it, left it there for months, just something like
So,
that, just as a start, not as a big deal.
Yeah. So I think the answer to your question is, yes, we will do that just out of junk and debris in their front yards. I'm
can't
going
see it
to
in the
take a
backyard.
wild guess and tell you that 90% of the mosquito production in those cases happen in the backyards.
Probably true.
And we're not at liberty to go on their property to find that sort of thing.
Yeah. Jackie, Jessica.
So the concept of creating a vector board would put the responsibility of developing the plan on that board. The people who are sitting there, they will observe the needs, how to get in those backyards. Maybe those people will go to ward by ward, team up with the council people and address everybody individually. We understand that this isn't a thing that the city staff can handle. Their guys are handling enough. We understand city council is already handling enough. This is creating a holding team to tackle this on their own, bring it to the city council for a budget, let them do their thing, report back to you guys. And they can address, they can go to people individually and say, hey, here's some education about how to prevent mosquitoes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and in the bat boxes, that's where we have these problem areas that Steve was mentioning, super inexpensive. And that's something that this board can develop a plan for. Ask you guys for money, maybe some help, we'll get it going.
Gotcha. Did you have something else, Brandy? Or was you going to respond?
Well, and the idea for, or our mission in a lot of that we do is not to fine people. Because if someone a lot of people, if someone's yard is not mowed and not well kept, it's very likely, not all the time, it's very likely they don't own a lawnmower. We're not putting them any closer to owning a lawnmower by ticketing them for not having a mowed lawn. Granted, there are lawn service, there's all kinds of things we can go there, but that's a very umbrella statement to make. Because we do also, live in a city limits where you have to have order. So that's, the other side. So the biggest thing is education. People are so, living on a farm, working with people. There was a little girl, I use this example often, and she came out and it was asked, what do you want to grow in your garden? And she said, sauerkraut. She had no knowledge that sauerkraut was cabbage. That cabbage is what she wanted. So often people are uneducated. They don't realize it's the trash that's causing the problem. And it seems like a very simple concept for so many of us, but in creating the vector board, they would be working with organizations in the community. So it's taking and it's creating a broader scope of community through this channel. It's not, like I said, it's not about just not spraying, but now we're taking something that the city government is having to control and saying, let's put this back in the hands of, let's make a governing board that can then go empower the people to start making better decisions for themselves and educating them and working together with the city council and with the city management to do these things.
What is it that the council can do to facilitate in the board's term? What would you like us to do? We need to say, hey, good, give us a report, or do we need to ask some sort of,
How have we done this in the past? We have a park board. So for
Okay,
instance.
so, yeah, you have to back into that, meaning what powers do you want them to have? All right, is that something that you want them to be able to go out and take on debt, borrow money? I mean, those sorts of things. If it's a committee, that's something that the mayor can do. If it's a board that has jurisdictional powers, that's something that we'll need to get with Brad and probably Chris Byram, and actually have bylaws form pretty strict guidelines on how we get there.
sounds like we should start with the committee? And that's up to the mayor to appoint that, or do you say, I'll entertain a motion that?
Yeah, we can set up the committees. But the thing I think that I'm concerned about is if that committee, if you don't set up an actual board, does that committee have actual authority to say, don't spray, or do this, or do that? Or do we have to have an actual board set up for that?
So-
Or are we going to listen?
The committee would be established to set up a board.
It could be. You can start with a committee to start there, yeah.
I would think a committee wouldn't have much teeth.
Right, that's what I'm asking. I think a committee would be a suggestion pool more than it would be a, here's where we are, I don't think we should do the spraying this month. Or maybe is that what you're thinking? That's kind of where my thought process went. If you just do a committee, I don't know how much pull you
Here's some
really
policies, or
have.
they could say, here's some policies we want changed, get it on the agenda.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, or maybe it doesn't go your way. I mean, I guess you could say
Somebody's
that.
got to write up the guidelines.
Yeah, you have to have a plan first. And
Yeah.
then we can back into what the design of the board looks like. So I think if the committee comes up with a plan, then we can take it to our attorneys and say, all right, help us formulate. This board needs to be able to decide when and where we spray. If we spray, they have authority to ticket people if they're keeping tires in their auto repair shop, those sorts of things. That would take a little bit more.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start that ball rolling and get a committee started.
I would,
We can do that, yes.
Is it feasible, plausible that a committee would not need those authorities because it would be something that is a partnership with the city, to where you already have code enforcement? So this committee who's doing this, and they spot these areas, and they're working, and say, neighbor A is just, they don't care about any of the education. They're not going to clean up. They're not going to do that. At that point, this committee can come back and say, so we have surveyed this ward. We've done this, and this, and these people aren't willing. And you have code enforcement already in place to go take care of the job versus giving someone else the authority to do what you're already paying a city employee to do. But it would be a communication aspect. And then, again, not necessarily having the authority to say we're going to spray or we're not going to spray, but that committee would be built with experts who are monitoring. If you have, as we suggested, someone with the county health department who sits on that board, they have access to that information very quickly, and to those testing labs as well. So then it would be a trust partnership of, guys, this committee is saying X, Y, and Z about this, and trusting their judgment because of a partnership versus having to build another board and give authorities to things that are really already kind of built and set in place, but a partnership that would be more open to ears on suggestions.
You must be a very good dodgeball player. I was just looking for someone to help take blame.
Well,
thank you.
I think we'll go ahead and get a committee formed.
Yes.
And we can get with Brad or whoever else to decide. I think the committee needs to have some discussions on really how much authority you really want to take or need or don't need. I think those are discussions you can have with that committee. And once that's determined, then we can move forward if we need to change anything else. So
Perfect.
we can do that. So,
And we are continuing conversations with Mr. Rudd on how to go forward. Businesses sponsoring bat houses, looking at those things with those type of funds to where the business would sponsor it. He has been given topographical maps, needing some better ones, so that he could see the waterways, and he can actually calculate based off of all of his math what's needed. So that way we're not buying unnecessarily, but buying what works. And then also the script, when we do our market on Friday, all of our 405 Sunset Markets, at our booth, we have we call it Project Bite Back. And so we are actually for donation doing dunk buckets to individuals who want to be a part of the program. And so as we build that, we are actively working already to educate people and get those tools in their hands.
okay. All right. Well,
Thank you.
You're the initial member, by the way.
Go
Go ahead.
Will you, for the cost of a $15 donation, that bucket will last a citizen 8 months?
Yes, it will take you through the
So
whole
for
entire season.
$15, we have one in our backyard, and for $15, I'm prepped for 8 months of mosquito control in my yard.
Yeah.
So that's, it's very inexpensive for someone to do.
Listen, I want a bat box too, dear.
How much
So you
are the
just-
bat boxes?
How much are the bat boxes?
Yeah, how much does?
Michael?
Mr.
Bat boxes are $100. Like I say, it's all contributor events. But I do all the work, and I keep nothing from it, and all goes out.
Wow.
And you put them up, you build them, you put them up, and,
I broke my back twice in the military. I can't climb anymore.
okay, so it'd be up to the individual to
Yeah.
put them up.
Do they go on houses or
They go
on
on a
poles?
pole. They can go on a house.
Go ahead, Michael.
They can be installed virtually anywhere. Like the eave of a house, up at where the gable line is. They can go on a pole, a tree. I've got pictures showing them actually on trees. And people say, well, yeah, but the bats can't see it. As long as they have an opening, it's 1 inch in diameter, the bats will get there. because they go by hearing radar. They don't go by line of sight. So you put them on, mine's on the end of my house, and I have one at my shop. I have no bugs. But you can put them, like say, in the gable line where the roof comes up, you can put them on a telephone pole, in a tree, a barn. I got one gentleman that put one inside his barn because the horse flies was eating his horses up. He had 2 more bugs.
It's pretty
So
cool.
you can put them virtually anywhere.
How high does it have to be?
15 feet above the ground, facing south or east. I've got a business card, tells all about it on the back of it, but
Okay.
that's, you can do the peanut butter one time and then that's it.
Okay.
Now, are they migratory, they come back, or they
Yes, sir.
stay there? or-
They come in around, according to the weather pattern, around the first part of March. Then they'll stay all the way up through last year, they stayed all the way up into November. Now, they come in and stay, where the little birds come and go 2 and 3 times a year. So every time they leave town, as the saying goes, here comes the bugs. The bats do not, they stay.
Okay.
Do they migrate back after?
Yes, when the season starts to warm back up in March, they'll come back, they go down to San Antonio, Texas, Mexico, all those areas like that. They don't live like the big bats do in caves. They can go under trees and stuff like that.
You
How
said,
many back?
sorry, you said the same bats come back every year, or up to 10 years?
Yes, little bats will live approximately 10 years. And once they find a home, they will come back to the same home over and over and over. It's crazy, but they do.
How many bat boxes do we need for 26 bodies of water and stream?
Well, sir.
To control them, seriously.
Well, to be honest with you, if my calculations is halfway correct, it's 77. That's the small ones like that. Now, I do make bigger ones. When you have large bodies of water that has a lot of inlets out on them, then we have to adjust to that. But it's hard to say. The best way to do it would be to actually physically go to a lot of these areas and look and see. Now, I've got a map right here, aerial map, that I have, looks like it's been shot with a shotgun. But it's got circles on it where all the bodies of water are, that I can tell from right here.
Is that in the city limits of Seminole, or is that as far out as like?
That's as far out as this map goes, and to be honest with you, I don't know how far that map really goes, because it wasn't super clear. I mean, I've got it right here, and maybe somebody else can read it a lot better than I can, but I'm not familiar with Seminole that well.
Yeah. We'll get the committee gathered, we'll contact you.
Yeah, that's what I was shooting at the other day, was an actual map that laid out that, the old saying goes, if you can just make it stand up, then you can see everybody.
It's not county. I don't know about city limits, but it's not a county map.
Okay.
So what does that mean, the ecosystem that introduced 5,000 bats? Introduced 77 boxes?
Bring it back into balance.
It'll be
Are you
balanced.
sure about that? That
Yeah.
just sounds creepy to me.
If they eat all their mosquitoes and they have no food, then they would leave.
What's creepy about it?
5,000 bats.
One thing about it.
They're tiny
They're
little,
little.
they're tiny little
They're
bats, and that they eat insects.
They're all flying rats, man. It's just creepy. But I'm not saying I'm against it. I mean, if it works, let's do it.
Well,
So, Corey, I have a
Okay,
question.
go ahead.
So, my question is, Randy, how long is the mosquito season?
How long is mosquito season? From May to October.
So from May to October, and those buckets would take care of that whole time? And then the bats don't stay here all along, so they're not here to creep you out all year long, just for a certain amount of time. And then, I guess, my next issue, or question, Corey, is that when you are putting this committee together, I would love to see Brandy and Jackie have a leadership role, because they're the ones who, I mean, of course, with the rest of the folks here, and everyone who has signed their petition, which I don't know how many people have signed your petition, but all laughing and joking aside, this is a serious concern from our constituents who took the time out of their lives, who don't get paid to do it, brought this to us, they did their research. So I don't think it's a laughing matter. I think it's very important, it's very serious. They have families and jobs that they took time away from to bring this to us. So I just want to say Mado to you all for doing that. And I will take your suggestions seriously. I would like to see a citywide campaign, Steve, for telling, individuals to get rid of those if you have trash or you have things that are collecting water. Whether that's a flyer in their water bill or on our social media, ads in the newspaper, just flyers everywhere that remind people to get rid of standing water when they see it, empower them with information. I don't see that being too administratively burdensome on the staff. But I also take a little bit of issue, Steve, with the not using code enforcement and the ability that we have as a city to enforce our codes. When you say someone can just say, oh, well, the city doesn't do it, so I don't have to do it, and so we take that argument and just not ticket them, because if that's how it works, then I'm gonna speed all over this place, and no one's gonna issue me a ticket, because I'm gonna say, I see everybody else speeding, so don't give me a ticket. I didn't think that was legally possible. So I would like to utilize those codes. That's why we have them. Utilize the enforcement, write tickets. Those are what we have. I think someone said that's what we use to have an orderly city to live in. Why aren't we using those tools available to us? So I think just by saying that the argument is that the citizens can say, well, I don't have to do it because the city doesn't do it, that doesn't hold any water with me. And speaking of water, I know that you had said there's an area in the middle of town that we don't have any control over because of the water and the beaver dam. I don't think natural water sources like that are our enemy. I think it's great that you have the pellets and that we're doing that, that's great. But I also think that those water sources are, animals use them too. I used to love walking at Magnolia and see deer come out, and since we cut off that one waterway, you don't see any deer or wildlife out there anymore, and you don't hardly hear any birds anymore. It's kind of sad. So I don't think those natural water sources are our enemy. So I would love to hear and have more discussions about this, but hear more from the committee. Again, just Mado to you all for bringing this to us, and I think it's time we have this conversation, looking at some of those ordinances. They haven't been updated since 2008, so it's a long time that we haven't had this discussion. So, thank you.
Okay, we can make that part of what they look into as well, kind of as a partnership, so. Okay, I got my marching orders on that one, so anybody else have any other comments or anything?
I don't want you to think I wasn't taking this seriously. I just think it's creepy. And I have my opinion, it's creepy. And so I do appreciate, I told Brandy, thank you for her interest. I think she did a great job. And so I don't want to be lectured about I'm not taking it serious. I do take it serious. And so I appreciate you doing that. I'm all for whatever works, man, whatever works. We'll do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sorry. Thank you. That's all you have to say.
I do think it is worth, just kind of another spectrum of this, it is worth looking into the effects that the spray does cause. I think there are a lot of ways, of things that have been brought up that are amazing and great, and you have people here who are ready to work and to put those things in place, and that's the hardest part, so that's wonderful and great job to you guys. But the effects of the spray itself, and that being a last resort, me as a citizen here, I'm fine with that as a last resort, but I'm terrified of this stuff. I hate the mosquitoes. I have a little redhead girl who every time outside, from head to toe, she gets bitten. We all hate them, but the spray scares me. It really does. I mean, it's worth, talk about it, but it is worth looking into if you guys don't mind to do that for us. I would appreciate looking into that. And as a last resort, as a citizen here, I'm fine with that. but I came home the other night and it was so unfortunate. I was like, oh, it's tonight they're spraying, let's get home. And literally the truck crossed in front of us and my husband was driving. He was like, what do we do? And we just drove through the cloud of smoke and, you know, you just have to laugh about it at the end of the day. But I would appreciate if you guys would look into that part of it as well. And I do appreciate all of you listening to our concerns. Thank you all.
I myself personally, we use it at my job, spray and granules, so I know. Okay, I just showed him a picture of the granule that we got it today. It's a tank, it's a salt. We throw it in the pond. Body of water. It don't last long. Those little donuts, from what I understand, your comes, you stick in the mouth. But it says, you just go down to City Hall. You throw them in your puddle of water. So I know about that stuff. But it's a long list of things in this city that we need to do. One, yes, cut the grass. Not just someone's house. I drive by it all the time, there's an empty lot. It's not about somebody owning no lawnmower, it's about the homeowner that owns that property. They don't care. Houses that are trashed out, they don't care. The tires laying around, the appliances laying around, the junk laying around, the bags laying around. If we don't clean up, we're gonna have a problem. We run into a problem that way. So yes, as a city, we need to do better. As homeowners, we need to do better. So I agree with you. And thank you.
I'm just really disappointed you weren't one of those kids like Jeff and I who ran into the smoke when you were young. Trying to smell it because it was just so weird.
That's why.
Just kidding. No. No one told me the difference. I thought it was just weird.
We're different because that freaks me out.
All right. Okay, if we've got no other comments from the council or the crowd, we're going to go ahead and close the public meeting. What did you have, Jackie? Can we go back and do that once we close this public hearing?
Yes, you can go back and do more petitions.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and close the public hearing on this mosquito spraying. And if you'll come and do that real quick, then we'll go ahead and do our other items. So,
Sorry to keep you all.
I thought you said bucket a while ago, and I thought you were going to do something with the, you said
Yeah.
budget. I thought you said bucket, and I was like, oh,
I'm a busybody, so I
Okay.
can understand your
All right.
confusion.
sorry.
I wrote this on a very small lettering, so I'm going to stare at this and not you guys. But
Okay.
this is about last month's meeting, okay? So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for continuing to invest in the city's beautification fund. I know that there was a lot of discussion during last month's budget meeting about whether those funds should remain in the budget, so I wanted to share why I believe that they're important. Over the past several years, I have had the privilege of bringing forward mural projects to the city council. While I did not paint the murals myself, I worked as the liaison between the artists, the property owners, and the city to help make those projects happen. I cared enough about preserving this opportunity for Seminole that I made it a priority to ensure these funds were put to good use each year. These projects have become the primary use of the beautification fund. To be honest, many of these projects were met with understandable questions at first. Public art is a relatively new investment for Seminole, and it's reasonable to ask whether it's worth the cost and whether the community will embrace it. Time has answered those questions better than I ever could. The murals have become landmarks, photo opportunities, and points of pride, and the public response has consistently exceeded expectations. However, I do not believe that these funds should belong to one person or one organization. I hope more nonprofits, businesses, neighborhoods, and community groups begin taking advantage of them to improve our city in their own creative ways. There are many ways to fund public art projects outside of these beautification funds, like grants, sponsorships, private partnerships, and I intend to continue pursuing those opportunities whenever and wherever I can. Recently, I shared photos online of every mural that we've completed since 2021, including the crosswalk project near the post office that was just completed last month. I asked the community what they thought, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Hundreds of people engaged with the posts, and the comments all shared a common theme. These projects made people proud of Seminole. People talked about how the murals brighten their daily drive through town. They said the colors make them happy. They shared memories of visiting them with their children,
Others said the mural sparked conversations about our history, our community, and the organizations that serve it. One comment really stood out to me. Someone said that they hoped we continue to creating a downtown that's beautiful, walkable, and full of art. That's the kind of place people want to visit and the kind of place people want to live. And I could not agree more. Beautification isn't just about making something pretty. It's about creating community pride. It's about encouraging investment. It's about giving people a reason to stop, take a picture, share it online, and remember that Seminole is a community that cares about itself. It's often said that if you want people to care for a place, you first have to show them that the place is worth caring for. Beautification sends that message. It is difficult to measure the return on investment of public art on a spreadsheet, but you can measure it in the conversations that you have with people in town, the photographs that they take, the businesses that they choose to visit nearby, and the pride residents feel when they invite someone to visit their home or their town. Every city has road and infrastructure bills to pay, and those things are necessary, but beautification is one of the things that gives a city its identity. So I simply wanted to say thank you for recognizing that these projects matter and for continuing to invest in the appearance and pride of our community. My hope is that when this budget comes back to you next June, you'll remember not only these remarks that I am making today, but the impact that these projects have had on our community. I also hope more people take advantage of these funds in the coming year, and I look forward to seeing what ideas our community has next. As for me, I will continue my efforts to bring more public art to Seminole to help make it a great place to live and visit. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. It's not a punch towards Jackie, but if you'd like to see a nicely painted fence, have her tell you where she lives. So, we're going to move on to approvals and acceptances. Under item 1, bids and surplus. Consideration and possible action to surplus the following public works vehicles. A 1994 Chevrolet 1500, which has 244,566 miles, VIN number 143197, and a 2006 Ford F-150, 221,708 miles, VIN number A87185.
Second.
Roll call, please. Jay?
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Scott Rosman.
Yes.
Jeff Nan.
Yes, sir.
John Kramer. Yes. Motion passes.
All right, moving on to item 2, consideration and possible action to approve the state bid lease agreement with Warren Cat for a Caterpillar Cat 926 wheel loader over 48 months at a lease of $4,007.12 per month and a purchase option at the end of the lease at $93,975. I had a question on this. Was this in our CIP projects?
Yes,
Whose
sir.
department?
Yes.
What department was this under?
Public Works.
Because the CIP one that I have that was sent on the last email that was sent for approval, I think this was part of the list that we originally had, but I didn't know that it was part of the final list. I was just making sure.
Yes.
Okay.
What we did, we pared it down, and rather than the $262,000 purchase, we decided to go with a lease that, I want to say, well, $4,007 times 12, so $48,000 a year.
Oh, okay. So
We're afraid of like 100 something thousand to do something, yeah, something like that to do.
right, there was just, okay. Because on the Public Works one, I didn't see that high of a total. That's why I was asking. So I saw the 2 half-ton pickups for 48,000. I was just making sure that was on our CIP. So, okay.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Scott Rosman.
Yes.
Jeff Nan.
Yes, sir.
John Kramer. Yes. Motion passes.
All right, under resolutions, item 3, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2026-07, a resolution approving State of Oklahoma Department of Transportation speed limit modifications on State Highway 3 East in the city of Seminole. You passed out the map on that, right?
Yes.
So everybody has this. So just so everybody knows, or I'm under the assumption, we have no control over this, correct? Since it's a state highway?
Well, it's in your city limits. They're asking you to make the change, both OHP and the Department of Transportation. So I guess
So-
in a technical sense, yes, you do have control.
Part of
You're
this,
saying no.
though, is out. Man, that just seems so far, that 20 miles all the way to, is that essentially river mist? Is that where that is on that south side, that 20 miles?
They're talking about, they want this approval inside your city limits.
Yeah, it's just, if you show them, the map just shows a little stretch, but they won't approve.
I know, but there's one part of that that is 20 miles to Pontotoc County.
That's going to the county commissioners.
Okay. Okay, because that was in the packet, and I was kind of curious. That's a,
So we're just in the, what
In
they're
a little
asking for
box
in
right
this
there,
little
yeah.
box right here.
Yeah. That's just our stretch of the road.
And so they're asking it to go from, looks like the same exact numbers.
there's two in there that don't change, and there's two that do. That's what it is.
Essentially, what they're talking about is once you clear the hill going south
Yeah.
from Morphus coming into town, down the hill, they want to choke that considerably, 10 miles an hour. And as you get closer to the railroad tracks, they want to take it to 45.
Did they tell us why they want this?
They said it is a recommendation from the Highway Patrol. I know we had one loss of life right in front of Morphus, essentially, fairly recent. within the
Due
last-
to excessive speeding?
No, ma'am, speed contributed. I think ultimately, I'm talking out of turn here. I think it was a deer avoidance issue, that they were going fast enough that when they tried to avoid it, they lost control.
Looks like they want us to slow down coming into town and speed up going out. Sounds reasonable.
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now, I got rear-ended right there at Park Heights. When I worked for the city. I was going back from lunch. The guy was in a 35. He rear-ended me. Slung my truck around. So, yeah, I understand that. If you ever drive that way, you'll understand why they want to do it.
Yeah, no, that's my ward. I know.
So,
I'm just, it's just a recommendation. They're not requiring us to do this.
I think it's a strong suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you.
That if you don't do it, then it will become mandatory. It's probably what will end up happening, correct? Is that what we're kind of gearing towards? I mean,
Boy, you're really putting me on the spot. It may end up that there's enough potholes in that road that ODOT doesn't fix, that it'll be a self-controlling speed limit.
I just never want Seminole, especially my ward, to be a speed trap. And it looks like it's going down from, well, I don't know. Is it staying the same distance as it is today? Like is it 10 miles each time that goes down? Are you all seeing the same thing I am?
so the 35 mile per hour zone and the 45 are not changing is what that, so, but what they are changing is the next portion, correct? So there's
Yeah,
four different parts.
It's
to that.
not 10 miles, it's 0.15 miles.
I was just saying,
Yeah,
not like under the speed limit.
you've got a block and a half to slow from 55 to 45.
A block and a half to slow down 10 miles per hour. And what is it now?
It is currently 55, taking you to a 45. And then 65 going to 55 is Yeah,
You want the break?
another little over
Here, this
block.
is the written one. That's easier to read. Sorry.
I'm with you, Dan, it's hard to see it on the map.
It was really hard. It's really hard to understand even what they've got written, but, so Steve, are you reading this as the 0.18 miles south of Park Heights Road, 20 miles all the way to Seminole, Pontotoc County line is going to change to 55? Is that what you're reading?
No, it's 19 miles is 65 miles an hour. South
Okay.
of Park Heights Road, going 0.18 miles, so,
They're just showing where it's gonna be 65 all the way to Pontotoc.
right.
I got you. It just said the end was .67 and the end was 20 point mile. It reads like, or it looks like they said the end of that was 20 point. It made it sound like they were changing the speed limit 55 miles an hour all the way to 20 miles south of there. Which I think is crazy, but, I mean, if you're going 55
So
miles an hour all the way to
what-
River Mist, that's
What
far.
they're talking about is 2/3 of a mile south of Park Heights Road.
Okay,
You're starting a 55 mile an hour zone, or you're in a 55 mile an hour zone. From Park Heights, 2/3 of a mile, basically going up the hill toward, trying to call it Hidden Hills Trailer Park.
that's what it is. Or the music park, is that what you?
Yeah, you'll still be at 65 at the gospel scene. Pardon me for using,
No, that helps me understand.
okay. You'll still be in
That's what it is.
65 at the gospel scene, but about the time that you get to the trailer park entrance, you're going to be going into a 55.
That's not a that's not a big distance. It's not a lot, right?
Exit ramps are a quarter of a mile. Go from 75 to
35.
North.
So they'll have from Willis to the gospel place to slow down?
No. So when you're coming down the hill, they're trying to slow it down, what they're trying to do. They're shortening the distance up from you going for like 50 or 55 to 55, 55 to 45, they're shortening the distance. So you're slowing down coming down the hill, yeah. But when you're leaving, they're going to speed it up. From what I'm understanding with the map.
And
Where
that's
they're at.
outside of our jurisdiction.
No,
It's in
ma'am.
our city limits, so then has our police they're gonna have to enforce this? Is there gonna be more tickets they're gonna have to be writing or being diligent in that area that's gonna be pulling away from other areas maybe, or have we heard from Chief Withers what that means for our police department yet?
He's here tonight to just visit with you about that subject.
Because I don't want to take away more resources from them just because the highway patrol wants this. They should be getting resources. Mike?
It should have a bit.
Well, to answer your question, I mean, this just came down with Monday when I heard about it. There's no foreseeable enforcing that even more than we have been. It's very hard for me to tell what exactly is going on with this map. I can't really see it. But it looks like to me they're just extending the 55 mile an hour zone further south than what it currently is. That's what it looks like. Yes. Yeah. We all know this south of town is a very high fatality stretch of road.
I didn't know that.
Yes, absolutely. Most time it's outside of city limits, but it's still pretty high fatalities.
That's where they had the Conowall bus crash, was in between Seminole and Conowall on that strip. So that was one of them. Highway 59 at Willis Quick Stop, that intersection right there has always been an issue.
Yeah, that's a scary intersection.
Yeah. So,
Well, there's quite a few people that use that Park Heights Road too.
so,
Thank you, Chief.
all right.
I guess we need to
Move to approve on that?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have an option at some points, we might as well. Okay, we have a motion and a second, Jay. Yep.
Chris Connor,
Yes.
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Larry Bud, Scott Rossman,
Yes.
Jeff Nance, John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to current business, discussion and action regarding past, present, and future fireworks shows within the city limits of Seminole and how decisions might be improved. So I had this added simply because of all the posts that were on Facebook that everyone saw about the time that the fireworks were done. That people were happy and sad at the same time. They were sad or happy they got to see fireworks with lightning, I get that. And then they were sad that they happened much later than what they were anticipating. So kind of going to have you do the rundown that you passed out on what. You
sure.
passed that out. I thought that was something you had written on that.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
I didn't
That
know. I
was
thought
for
that was
your-
something
that
you
was
were
for
gonna-
your
Oh.
edification, but I'll share it.
I thought you were doing that because that was what you were wanting to share, so I was just holding it. So that's fine. We can do either way.
I got it. I got it. So obviously, we were in a quandary. I think every community in Oklahoma really got in a pickle, whether you were Mustang or you were Eufaula. I mean, everybody had to make decisions, and every one of them got brought into question. It didn't matter what city you were in. In our case, our contract calls for a decision to be made by 12 noon. So I looked at the radar. There was nothing from Pueblo, Colorado to Dodge City, Kansas, all the way to Seminole at noon. So we had to make the call. That's when they start loading the canisters, the tubes as they call them. Once they load those shells into the tubes, they become explosive, dangerous, and unloading those becomes not an option. So once we were loaded, we were going to shoot them, and that started at 12, and we did go ahead and ask, hey, what if we just leave these and shoot them tomorrow? The answer was from the non-supervisor that was loading the canisters was that, hey, we've got to have these tubes ready to go tomorrow for another show. So we had to shoot, and we were praying that we didn't have to shoot them at midnight. We did put a Facebook post out that said, hey, our intent is 9:45, but if a rainstorm comes, we will shoot immediately following or when opportunity arises. So around 10:30, 10:32, I think it was, we did get a good opening, and we were able to get the show in, and we apologize, but the fact of the matter is we have a lot of considerations at City Hall. Number one is the PTSD citizens that we have. Those people that served our country, they have real trauma, and they have to prepare themselves and make special adjustments for when we're going to do fireworks. So when we tell them it's on the 4th of July and bump it to the next day, that becomes a real issue, as well as the people that prepare their pets. So if we tell them it's going to be on the 4th of July and they prepare their pets and make the efforts that many of us have to do, changing it becomes a big issue. So we do our very best to keep it when we say we're going to do it. Normally in a summertime event, a thunderstorm in Oklahoma will blow through in July. Will blow through in 30 or 45 minutes. It's here, it does its business, and it's gone. This one hung around a little bit longer than we were comfortable with. Our normal time would have been 9:45, but at 10:32, we sent out another Facebook message and said we're about to shoot now. And I was really shocked with the turnout. I mean, there was a lot of people here. A friend of mine who's a city manager in Eufaula was not so fortunate. They made the call to shoot them during daylight hours, and it was a bust. We had that option. We could have shot them at 8:30, and Scott and I talked about it, and I said, no, that's, you can't see the colors. It ended up being spectacular with the lightning in the background. It was really something. We got a lot of really positive feedback, but I know we were all extremely stressed. The mayor in particular was what are you doing to me? Because he kind of leads our Facebook, attack or defense, as it were. So we tried to keep it out of the ditch, and I think, given the circumstances, I think the staff and the contractor did as best we could.
Literally, it wasn't, we're fixing to shoot, and here come rolling the comments and the people on Facebook. I'm like, oh dear goodness. But here's what I would like to look into. So part of this that concerns me, and maybe it's with all companies, I don't know. But 12 noon is first off, that's a long time to make a call. So I don't know if there's any other companies that will allow you to go a little further out, or if they can be convinced to do that. But I would like to see us look into that option for next year, because my thing is, if you don't cancel by noon and you're clear, and here comes the storms, and you don't get to shoot them, or it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you've wasted $16,000. That's the part that is we can't control the company that went out of business, that went bankrupt, I get that. But they scheduled another show for the next day, when in all reality, they should make sure all the other ones are honored first before they book another day out, in my opinion.
You're right.
So I was really upset with the fact that that was all that we had to go off of. And I went back and searched all the way back to the March agendas to find the contract, because I was like, what does that contract say? So I was like, so what it states is that you can reschedule if you postpone it by noon. You can reschedule that for any point during the year, 365 days. So my point is that I think we need to find something that's going to be a little bit later in the day to offer a cancellation. If that's the case, if we need to postpone that, I mean, we have some other events in town that would gladly take that fireworks show. I know with Neil Craig's passing, one of his things he was so passionate about was Snowman Wonderland getting a fireworks show. Now, if we don't get one for 4th of July, that would be a cool thing to have for Snowman Wonderland for the last night, given that, no doubt. But I'm sure we could come up with something in the city to celebrate and have some fireworks by. But the two things I really want someone to look at next year is that cancellation time. I think 12 is, maybe it's the standard, I don't know. But I think it's way too soon to make that call in Oklahoma when anything can burn through in 2 hours, pop up. But then also, I'm okay, I would have been okay with postponing it. Because in the summertime, kids don't go to school. Kids are going to watch those fireworks at whatever night we tell them they're going to happen. But, I mean, I believe you had the crowd around the portion of the park down there, which had people parked at. I think those are those people that were parked there and got front row seats, and they're not leaving until you tell them they're not getting a show. So I think those people stayed, but there were pictures that people sent me from all the other parking lots where there were no one. And so I just don't want it to not be a show that everyone has an option to see, if that makes sense. So that's the point in which I was at. I was extremely irritated, and you knew that when you called me. I was like, and so, but we were one of the crazy people that were raving it out in our campers at Sportsman's Lake, because we wanted to go have a nice weekend out, even though it was at Sportsman's Lake. But it didn't hurt us too bad. I guess they're in a valley there, so Robbie said they don't really get much out there. But at any rate, those are the two things that I would really like to see for next year, is that we don't, a little more of a time that we can take to say no. So, and if it's not normal, what's the exception that they would give us? Some companies are like, I don't know if I want to do that out for an extra $500. Maybe I'll do that for you. Okay, that's something to consider, given the fact that we might get a show later in the year or on another day. So those are the kind of options I'd like to look into. It's really, I feel really,
I was canceled that quick.
yeah, I was really, I mean, it would bother me if I was one of those towns that you were expecting a show and then the company went bankrupt the day before and they announced it to you a day earlier. Now, for me, that would have made me even more furious. And as a matter of fact, I texted you right when I heard that rumor. I was like, hey, please tell me we're not one of those towns, because we don't want that. But those are two things that I just want to make sure someone looked at for next year, whether I'm here or not. But I want to make sure that that gets addressed. Because for the town, that's a good thing for the town to do. I mean, it brings a lot of people, but just want to make sure that's addressed and all. Just address the general public who had an issue with it, so they had an idea of what went on, and so they would know. So, but that was a my deal. So, but anybody else?
Is that the first time we've ever had a situation like that?
No.
Well,
It's happened before. I think you said it happened way back when.
It's happened before. And part of the issue with the long delay, like saving it for Snowman Wonderland, is they're saving the same shells that age. So when those went off, it was a lot of duds, what I would call them, just bombs instead of colors. So in my opinion, I wouldn't want to delay it very long. If we delayed it, I would recommend.
And just for the record, I think it's in that contract as well that they're not responsible for the duds. That if you get some, you're not getting your money back.
Right.
It's actually written in there.
Yeah, it's written in there.
Yeah,
It's
so
written in there.
kind of takes them out of the position to give you any kind of money back for any reason, so.
Another argument for a drone show.
So, listen, if we could afford it, I think you would get a crowd like no other if you could afford to do something like a drone show. I 100% agree with that, but they're just so expensive, so I'll put you in charge of that committee to find funds.
$16,000.
All right, all right. So, all right, that was all I had on that one. If nobody else has anything, we can move on to. So there's no action on that one, so. Move on to item 5, discussion and action of enforcement of fireworks ordinances within the city limits of Seminole.
Right. We've had a lot of questions at City Hall, certain complaints about, hey, my neighborhood looks like more of a fireworks show than what you did in the park. And I just wanted to bring John and what I asked for is an action plan. I need this to improve. What are we going to do? So.
Good evening. Got that, Sharon? Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm up here to discuss about the second fireworks show that happens in our backyards if you live in town. I think it starts at least a day or two before 4th of July and ends maybe a day or two after 4th of July. So I presented this plan. I do have a handout here if you wish. I can hand it to you afterwards. It's the same thing that's been displayed up here. Anyway, this is my game plan moving forward. Hopefully we can launch this up next year. Won't have any interruptions. Present this to Steve Saxon. Basically, our plan is to, as right now, we're going to contact dispatch, and I'm going to get with my officers that work that night, and we're going to identify the hot spots, the neighborhoods that have issues more than others. I know this year, just for instance, I was discussing with the city manager just right before the meeting started. This last 4th of July, the electricity, phone lines, internet got knocked out at the police department about 9:30 at night on 4th of July. And we did not regain those until 10:45-ish, somewhere around there. So our call volume, I think we had 6 calls, is what the fire department chief said. We had 6 calls of fireworks. We know there's more than that, but with those issues, we wasn't get a good tally. So it kind of will bump my numbers down for next year, but I think we can all tell the neighborhoods. So yes, about 36 days before, we're going to gather that intel, identify any kind of trends, if people, especially their written warnings or tickets, whatever, I have identified repeat offenders from the past years, which I can tell you now is not very many. I know in the past 12 years, there's been one citation issued for fireworks. So it's been an issue for quite some time. And address it with the past 2 years of complaints and calls for service. And again, that same time frame, 30 to 60 days before 4th of July, start doing a more public awareness campaign. Social media is going to be a big tool, newspapers, got city ordinances regarding fireworks, fines and penalties, fire hazards, and alternatives such as displays or other events in the area that people can go to. Again, you have to use our social media to broadcast that out. Work with code enforcement. If any unlawful sales that are going on at our fireworks stands in town. That will take some researching on that because I am not familiar with that whatsoever. Let me just be honest with you, I'm not. So. And about 2 days before, as the enforcement, we're going to increase patrol staffing during this time. I honestly feel like we need to start at least 2 days before 4th of July, especially given what day of the week it falls on. This week it was Saturday, or this mirror Saturday. Yeah, we probably should have jumped on that a lot sooner. Probably not so much in the middle of the week, but we'll look at that year by year. Especially with overlapping shifts, establish a dedicated fireworks team. This year, I would love to have our bicycles out this year. You know, city manager asked me why I didn't have that out. Well, this year I had 2 officers out for surgery. I'm shorthanded one, and of course I have to have my 2 officers that were staying late come back to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. So it was short staffed this year. And a lot of times we are anyway, even if we have everybody there to handle the call volume. And because you also have other calls going on at the same time that we're at the crowds down by the fireworks display. People trying to sneak in through the back to the golf course to get closer seats. So we got a lot going on. And we just don't have the staff to handle that. This year I did ask the Sheriff's Office and tribal law enforcement for assistance. Sheriff's Office sent me 2 deputies, and Light Horse, but never got a response from them. So, yeah, we utilize those deputies to help with crowd control down in the park area, which turned out to be a lot less than usual due to the rains. And also going to be looking into any applicable state laws, especially for people that are repeat offenders or have been warned previously, don't do it. Usually state laws is much stiffer penalties and fines than just city ordinances. And also state laws can be issued through district court rather than municipal court. Yeah, the day of the holiday, deploy more marked patrol vehicles in those known neighborhoods that we identified previously, especially in the parks and anywhere that they gather. I know down at the fireworks display in the parks, I think talking to the Public Works Director, said last year they had like 2 pickup trucks of spent fireworks that they loaded up and had to get rid of. And of course, the enforcement side of it is written warnings, citations, criminal complaints by neighbors and people who witness these that can be done, and also possible seizure of the illegal fireworks. Now, I must point out the citations and warnings and all that stuff, okay, blotting fireworks off in city limits is a misdemeanor. Misdemeanors can only be forced by officers if they witness them doing it, not driving by and knowing that they're doing it. We all know who's doing it, but we have to see them doing it. That's the issue. That's the biggest hurdle that we have. Because they see patrol cars, because there's people out there, they know what patrol cars look like just by the headlights. I know if us normal citizens don't think about that, but that's absolute truth. They can pick out a patrol car in complete darkness just by the headlights. So we have to see them light the fuse and run away be able to identify them in the dark and issue out the citations for that. But the plan is I will be speaking to the city attorney about possible actions to homeowners. And also another issue that we have is juveniles are the ones doing it with their parents right there. So, I mean, I know about me, I don't like writing a ticket to a 7, 8-year-old. I don't want to do that, but if their parents are there, let's go ahead and hand it to them. You know, this will be something we'll be looking at for next year. And then, of course, after the holidays, we'll have an after-action review with the officers that worked that shift and see what worked well, what we need, what didn't work well. Of course, address staffing needs. Yeah, and any other areas that might not be identified previously where we need to add to for the following year. Are there any questions?
So you're saying you can't cite someone unless you see them doing it?
Correct.
And if it's a child, you can't cite them, is that what we're saying? I mean,
You
can't cite
can,
the parent?
yes. I mean, you could write hope I don't have to ever do it, write a 6-year-old a ticket, but ultimately, yes, it goes to the parents, but we have to see them doing it. There are very few misdemeanors that we can enforce without being a witness.
I, in my ward, in my neighborhood, they're setting fireworks off weeks before.
As soon as they start selling them.
As soon as they start selling them, and it just seems like they're just free to do it. They go to the Chase Park and do it. They do it from their yards in the middle of the street. Are there, I guess you said you haven't mapped out where kind of the problem areas are. Is that so? Will you be doing, I don't know, like surveillance in that area specifically, like next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, and I wanted to commend your officers about 1 o'clock in the morning on the 5th, right? So just right after the same night. House catty corner from me. It wasn't just a regular, like when I was kids, we had like Roman candles and stuff that we did. These people are doing, they're almost like, it seems like not much smaller than the ones that we do.
Right.
And
Yes.
you could hear things coming off from that hitting my roof and hitting the ground. And so I opened the door to go outside and go tell them to knock it off. And a Seminole police officer went flying by and turned the corner, and you could hear him like raising his voice to them, and their you could hear the apologies and stuff. But I hope they got it taken. It was because things were hitting not only my roof. There's lots of houses around there.
Well, I know particularly on the 5th, the officer did tell me the next day that they received several fireworks calls. I had 2 officers out on shift, and both of them were at the ER, just got through having to fight a suspect, and they were busy there. And at the same time, they were getting called about fireworks. So we did the best they could. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
I know on the 4th of July myself, I was out working. I stayed up till after 12. And I caught, smaller fireworks being lit off by little kids, out in the street, and the parents right there. But I'm out talking to them, and then, like you're saying, those big artillery shells are going off 2 or 3 blocks away. I leave the little fountains alone and try to go catch them. And by the time you get there, it's done.
The little fountains start just about as many fires as those big ones because there's so close to the ground. But, I mean, I drove around that night too, and I called a couple of calls in because, I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, this one backyard was lit up like it was just a light. And I'm like, these are 2 little kids, and their mama's sitting back behind them yelling at them. And I don't know what she was saying, but I was like, my gosh. So I called in, and I sit there, and I waited for someone to get there because it was like, those kids were going to start a fire. And it's just unfortunate that if you had a neighbor who worked all your life to pay for your house, couldn't afford to pay for insurance, and you burn that house down, now how sad is that you leave someone who can't afford to even replace their house or couldn't afford insurance? Something of that nature. But I would almost like to see you guys tighten that up to the point where there's a no tolerance. I mean, we do it for grass and weeds, and if you get a grass and weeds at that home, you're either gonna find the homeowner, or you are gonna find the homeowner. That's all we have the option to do. I would almost like to see it the same way. Could you talk about a PTSD person on our fireworks show? What if you weren't even expecting anything and it went off in your backyard? That's 10 times worse than knowing there might be a show. And so, I don't know how you can make that. I would rather there be no tolerance whatsoever. You show up and you see a firework, there's not even a warning, you're getting the ticket.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. But,
And I know that sounds mean, but, and used to as kids, you're like, oh, why'd you have to tell on us? Well, because you don't realize what you're really doing. And I know it's fun, but I was just thankful someone lived in the outskirts of town, I can go do fireworks on their property, but, I mean, you can't do that in the city limits. You just cannot. So, but.
Dangerous out in the county. I mean, I live just outside the city limits myself, and been out there for 2 years. Now, the first year, I did catch my field on fire.
Yeah.
But I was prepared, thank God.
Scary.
Well,
I think we actually, Steve, I actually think we covered 5 and 6 both.
Yes.
On that unintentionally. So, and that was the last one that we have on current business. So, but we're going to move on to comments by staff and counselors. So we'll move on to Ward 1, Mr. Larry.
I guess the only thing that I could bring up is that beautification projects in cities that are visible when you're driving a car and stuff reduces road rage. And also, has a calming effect on everyone around. I mean, I think it's a beneficial thing to have murals and other kinds of artwork. It's just the research shows that helps our mood and our attitude and all that stuff.
Just slow down.
That's all I will say.
All right. Dana?
Welcome to Ward 1, everyone. I want to start off with condolences to Councilperson Rossman, who lost his mother a few days ago, so sorry to hear about that. I want to do a couple recognitions. One is for the Seminole Arts Council, their new president, Patrick Cowart. Man, this young gentleman is kind of off to a really great start in his passion for preserving our historic downtown, bringing people together, promoting the arts. Already they had the, the carnival and the park, and then they had the 250th celebration here downtown. So I just wanted to kind of give them a shout out for that. A lot of great things. And again, I just want to remind you, these folks that I'm talking about, again, they aren't getting paid for this. They don't get elected for this. They do it because they care. And so it just makes it even that much more impressive. So just wanted to mention Patrick. I also want to mention Brandy, who you heard from earlier. Again, just for bringing this issue to us, doing your research, your due diligence, and being patient with us. And as we work through this, and I appreciate that, Randy. And then also too, want to mention Jackie Dill. She had mentioned that in her remarks about the crosswalks and the beautification funds that were used to install the very beautiful, if you haven't had a chance, go look at them, they're so cool. The crosswalks by the post office, they were done by a artist named Brandon Bray. And just some really cool stuff. And I've noticed online, I've shared it myself, but a lot of other people did. And in the comments, it's really cool to hear all the positive comments about Seminole and people being prideful of living in Seminole. And I saw a lot of comments, people were from Prague and Oklahoma City saying they want to come here just to look at those crosswalks and take a picture. So just a great effort on Jackie's part for facilitating that, bringing it to our town. The folks who are behind the 405 Sunset Market, I got to go for the first time last month or the beginning of the, I forgot, the time is getting away from me, but I got to go, and it was really, again, it's I know that I'm using this term loosely, it was cool. It's a cool event that makes me proud to be living in Seminole, where I can just, just a few blocks down from where I live, I can go to this market where all these different vendors are, and I got dinner, and get to see people out from the community there, just enjoying themselves and eating and fellowshipping, and it was great. And I think it just strengthens not only our community, but really just, again, that fellowship of our citizenship. So I think it was great. So, and then I guess I hate to end on a bad note, but vandalism continues to be a problem. A shout out to the police department for finding the person right away who vandalized the splash pad, and that's some really, it was a quick turnaround, so appreciate y'all taking care of that. But I am still looking to find some solutions for this, so anyone who can help with that, we need it, because it continues to be a problem. As soon as we put up something nice, it gets torn up, and kind of like what I tell my boys all the time, this is why we can't have nice things, but we definitely need to find a way to address this issue, so.
Okay. All right, Ward 2, John?
I didn't really care who you picked to replace her. You gotta do it.
Appreciate that.
It is the anniversary.
Yeah. He almost got in trouble for that. I said, you're fine till next month. We have a quorum tonight, we're okay. So, thank you though, appreciate that. Ward 3, Scott Rossman.
We're gonna start.
Wherever you want.
Seminole PD and Seminole Sheriff's Department. You wanna talk about some guys that worked their butt off on the 4th of July? Let me tell you what they did. 3 punks, juveniles, stole my dying mom's painkillers. Went in her home and stole them. An hour and a half, they had it back. 3 juveniles and a parent got charged. Because her mama wanted to lie. Thank you. Got quick. There was 5 cops at my mom's house. They knew where to go, what house to go. And when they went there, mom said, oh, my son didn't steal this. The kid's on probation. My son didn't steal nothing. But then she had another kid bring the pills back to the house and give it to the cops. Because the kid had it back and said, oh, so-and-so told me to give these to you. We didn't get them all back, but we got something back. And thank you for everybody who reached out, I appreciate it. It's rough. Not prepared. I walked in the funeral home the other day and had to ask questions. Normally I just go there and pay my respects. I didn't know what to do. $9,200 lady, by the way. She's on Christmas. What am I going to do? But thank you to the city staff. A lot of them guys have been reaching out to me. Thank you, Steve. And yes, still remember the force. We're light them off right now. I said, okay, later. He was excited. But it was a good show with the lightning. I was sitting at the house watching it. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But there was a line of cars going north of town when we came back home that night. And even in that storm, there was a lot leaving. But no, thank you to everybody. City staff, keep doing what you're doing. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Your turn.
All right, Jeff.
I just want to say I'm glad Kramer's feeling better, went through a health scare. I'm very sorry about Evelyn, Scott's mom. Very sweet lady, someone dearly missed. I'd like to thank you guys. You guys didn't pay for this either, and you did because you care. I appreciate you guys. I know sometimes I come across a little rough. I don't need to. Just got no reason, and so I don't mean to ever sound like I'm rough at all. I would like to thank all the guys that work hard in the city, and the police officers and the fire department, all those guys, man. You guys do a great job. I appreciate Steve and Jay and Sharon and all those guys that work so hard in the city. You guys do a lot of things that nobody knows anything about. I appreciate you guys so much. Every time I go in, Jay's always got a smile on his face, man. I don't know if it's because I'm leaving or whatever. But it's just,
That's just for you.
Just
For the
for me.
rest of you, you get a scowl.
He's glad I'm leaving. I don't know. I thank Corey, because I know Corey puts up with a lot of nonsense on Facebook and things. That he's nicer than I probably am. But I do appreciate him and all the stuff. Again, it's my honor to sit here. It's my honor to represent Ward 3 the best I can. And so that's my honor. I'm least likely to be sitting here. Thank God I am. And thank you guys for everything you guys do.
All right, we have no Chris, so Trace Connor.
This last weekend, I participated in a golf tournament at a town south of Seminole. And I'll tell you what, Seminole has one of the best golf courses in the state, public courses, in my opinion. I mean, I live here, I love it. But we just recently put up a hitting cage, Larry, so you're able to come out there, and once we get the net up, we'll get some
Right.
in the net.
You better show up.
Much respect to our current management out there. I mean, just the inner fighting between the people that we went and saw, it was just amazing. And I was like, I'm so appreciative of what we got here. But the fireworks show was wonderful, even though it kind of came off at a bad time. But anyway, that's all.
All right, and I skipped myself, but I'll go back through. But 4th of July, Police Department, for what you had on staff the day after the 4th they did what they were supposed to do. I myself called in a couple of instances, and they did show up relatively quickly considering what was going on. So, I mean, I know you were short-staffed, but they still did show up. And I appreciate that. But for 4th of July, I mentioned that we went out to Sportsman's Lake. I know we left in the budget some room for some pads out there. So we just kind of took the weekend to go park the camper and just kind of walk around and look at things that you could do with Sportsman's Lake. And so got a few ideas in my head that we'll kind of go over later. But Robbie does a great job out there. We constantly saw him pulling through. He had a mess to pick up the morning after the wind came through because those big trash cans were blown over. He does what he's supposed to do. He even offered to take us out on the lake, which we didn't take him out on or up on because we just didn't have time. But he does a great job, and the lake is, for the most part, in great shape. So he keeps it mowed. We were commenting on how far out that he mows, and I thought, man, that's a far ways out. But I mean, you're not even remotely close to the entrance, and they're mowing part of that area. So that was really nice. Something else I probably want to consider, Steve, that you and I will probably have to talk about this, but I've heard more and more lately too that people want to do some town halls just on subjects or just to share information because it's been a long time. We did one with Shura the other night, called that a town hall, but just a general one just for people that do have questions, give them another opportunity to come besides for this one night of council. So I'd like to have those. I think you're going to have some subject matter you want to do in one of those, or else you may get off on so many tangents that they won't be productive.
Right.
So we need to look at doing that.
Okay.
But Brandy, who is here, if you guys have never met Brandy and you've never met Charlie, her husband, they are two, I don't even know how to say this. Those two are brilliant. Charlie does a lot of the work in my houses for me, and James Moon will walk in and he's like, I don't need to look at this, I'm good. Because he's just got to, if he doesn't know something, he will read and he will read and read until he figures it out. Well, Brandy is the same way. So they just read until they figure out what to do. And so, but anyway, something else, Impact Seminole, for a lot of you folks that are not associated with them or not doing anything with them, their back to school bash is on, that is, man, what day is that? On the 1st of August. And so it's actually 10:30 to 1:30, I think, is the time frame on that. And so somehow they've conned me into doing a mayor's booth, as well as I think we're doing one for our agency, so we're going to share some time there. But if you guys don't support that, find a way to support it. They will get you they'll get you in contact with the right person. But, and then the splash pad, I showed up, I saw that on Facebook, and I said, I'm just going to go by there and see what they did. And so there were a lot of people bashing the city on Facebook because they announced that it was indefinitely closed. Well, what had happened, it really was an indefinite thing. You just did not know how long that would really be down. And so that was the first time I'd ever met Stretch. I've never met the guy, and I've always heard about Stretch. But I walked up and I introduced myself, and he goes, I'm Stretch. And I'm like, oh, never met you. But he was on it. He was getting it taken care of and doing what he could to get him running back. And so kudos to him, but he was doing great. But, and of course, the last thing, I'm very sorry to hear about your mother. I wrote some insurance for Evelyn, but also many of you may have known her, you just don't realize it, from Brahms. So she worked at Brahms for many years, and so that was where I first knew her. And so, but again, that's tough. It's tough. When I lost my mom, that's a whole nother thing when you lose your mama. So, but we're with you. I hope the services and everything goes well, as well as can be. So, Steve?
Scott, I echo everything that everyone's saying, brother. I'm so sorry. So sorry for your loss, but we'll help you. We'll hold your hand. Okay. Kim, thank you for all the energy that you bring to the market. That's such a cool thing to have. Bravo. Just keep it up, man. That kind of stuff tends to spread. Everybody starts to buy in and become prouder of their community. Kudos to Seminole Chemical. You mentioned the quick turnaround on getting the splash pad repair. That's part of being in a community that loves each other. And they rallied along the stretch, and our parks crew got that thing repaired quickly. We'll be working as a staff to try to beautify our community with bat boxes. I think that's a great idea, and this could be a game changer. I really believe that. I'm curious to know, 77 is the number that's going to stick with me, so we got to find a way. And we'll see. We'll try to get there. We are going to need a special meeting here pretty quick, because the bid that we sent out for the Christmas tree replacement is not going to happen till after this meeting. So I'm going to beg of you to spare one more special meeting, and we'll try to get that thing ordered in time for us to get it put up. So we want it to hit this year, so we're trying to get that done. 4th of July, I apologize to those that were upset. I'm happy that many of you enjoyed what you got to see. The last thing, I'm like you, I don't want to leave on a down note, but I was recently approached. It wasn't just one person, it was a couple, regarding rumors swarming around our ambulance service. They acted like it was a new rumor. Folks, I'm going to take a second here to just tell you it's not new, okay? This is maybe 9 years or 8 years that this has been an issue. And I'm talking about all the way back to when Fielding was our fire chief. I mean, we were making regular appearances at the county commissioner's office with regard to ambulance calls. And, hey, we're going to need some help. And 522 district is a real solution here, and we need your help. Well, here we are. I mean, we are seeing the quick story with the big, beautiful bill that was passed. Okay, everybody's kind of familiar with the big, beautiful bill. Well, that has decimated rural hospitals. It just has. And with SSM, they found a little revenue stream by doing their own transfers. Okay, well, if you'll recall, we staffed up to do transfers, and we added staff. And paramedics are expensive, and so are medics are expensive. And ambulances, as you all well know, we just bought one, they're very expensive. So with SSM beginning to do their own transfers, we lost a tremendous line on our revenues. So our expenses, or excuse me, our revenues are tanking, our expenses are going up significantly. So we've started discussions with the county commissioners again about doing the 522 district. And I think everybody can pretty much connect the dots on what might happen if we don't start to shore up our revenues and our expenses continue to go up. It's just not sustainable. So you will likely hear rumblings from county commissioner meetings. I know Merrick next Monday will be meeting with the other chiefs and the county commissioners with regard to what is a 522 again? How do we get that implemented? And I will tell you that many other counties are already on the 522 district and have been for decades, which allows counties to support ambulance services, whether it's Hughes County, they do one service countywide, or whether it's others that support individual city services within their county with the 522 money. But I don't want you to be caught off guard because we are opening those lines of communications. And it's not a rumor. We've run newspaper articles that there are complete sections of Seminole County that are unprotected. They have no ambulance service in these areas of the county, and I'm including the Catfish Roundup in that. I mean, Struthers High School is in that. They have no ambulance service. If this city council isn't benevolent enough to send an ambulance and we have staff available, they don't have anybody coming to help. The question will quickly become, is it incumbent upon this city council to serve those that are outside of their wards? I don't have an answer, but it makes it a lot easier if there's a 522 district that's coming behind us. Instead of cutting us like they did last time in the emergency services tax, we need help. And it's real, and we've got to shore it up. That's all I've got. Thank you.
I appreciate whoever started those talks, because Dana and I talked about having to go ourselves and try to round up some support somewhere. So, but yeah, we got to do something about that. It shouldn't have to take somebody's life for that to become apparent that you have to have that help. So
I think it's time the county commissioners look at the city too, like you're saying. We're holding the bag basically for the entire county, and that is not what we are meant to do. We're not designed for that. We're not funded for that. So conversely, while we're looking to take care of everybody, I need those county commissioners to look at helping take care of us.
Yep, yep.
And I would be happy to tell them.
You just did. You just did. It's live. Okay, we have a executive session on this, so I'm going to read this real quick, and so we can head into our executive session. So we won't be here till wee hours of the morning, but consideration and discussion and possible action to enter into an executive session under Oklahoma Statute 25 OS subsection 307B2, negotiations concerning employees and representatives of employee groups, International Association of Firefighters, Local 2581. So I need a motion to go into executive session. All in favor? Any opposed? Like sign. All right, thanks everybody.